hello, and welcome to SpeakPodcasts, episode 20. Of course, we have Luca in the building.
What's up? What's up? Man, I can't believe we made it to 20 episodes. That's actually kind of crazy. Kind
Right?
of unexpected given how
Oh my
volatile we
God.
both are.
Listen, it could have blown up in our faces. Instead, we decided to, go against the odds, I guess. How are you?
I'm good. How was Thor?
Oh my God, I loved it.
Yeah?
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was great. I love
Yeah,
that
I'm probably gonna
shit.
go see it Wednesday during the day because I have it off.
Nice. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. I had to go early because lady gotta save some money. But it was definitely it was great. I
It's
recommend
good.
it to everyone, especially if you enjoy those those movies. Uh,
Yeah, if I don't like it, I'm definitely coming after you. Just want to let you know that.
me. All right. Well, I'll take that. I'm sure you'll like it, so I'll take that gamble.
Okay.
So we're here. We are absolutely excited that this is episode 20, and we actually incorporated that into the show a little bit, just to kind of reflect on where we've been and what we've done with the show. I think that episode 20, it's not that many if you think about, how far and how long people have been doing it, but I think it's a nice little milestone to hit, especially when you're first beginning. And
Oh yeah, for
so
sure, definitely. I agree.
I'm super excited, and I'm so glad that everyone's here. Thank you, everyone that's in the chat. I know we started an hour later than usual, but we're super excited to have you. And I didn't expect anyone to show up because, an hour later, like, it's different. But thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we always appreciate you guys, showing up to show us support. That's really awesome. Like, it's really great. Thank you.
Don't cry.
I've already started crying.
No. If you cry, I cry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so don't. I'm going to ask Luca a few questions because I want us to talk about the show a little and what we feel about it and things like that. So we are still going to do question time, but it's going to be a little question time with a twist. So question time. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's just my nature to just start singing things.
Singing?
Yeah, my bad. I know you don't like it, but so
No, it's not that I don't like it.
What?
I just, I like messing with you. That's what I like.
It's episode 20, right? So I wanted to know, what have we enjoyed so far from doing the show? Or what have you enjoyed? I want you to tell me a little.
So my favorite thing about the show is, okay, so we're in the gaming community primarily, right? And a lot of our friends have come on the show, and I've enjoyed learning more about my friends, having them open up and like just telling us about their lives and just like that's been my favorite part because I feel so much closer with everyone ever since we've had them on. Like, it's pretty amazing, I think, that
Right.
people are willing to come on our show and just open up like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy for a lot of people to do, so the people who have done it, like, I really commend them because it's just awesome. And I've grown closer to literally everyone who's come on. You know what I mean? So I'm really
Yeah.
like, that's what I've enjoyed the most.
I feel like I can connect with that because I especially like the fact that I think it was who was it that referred to it as like behind the scenes kind of like podcasters, we go into podcasters' lives and we kind of talk to them about things that they wouldn't necessarily speak about on their own shows.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. It was Porter Rock who said that. I enjoy learning more about the people that we listen to in the gaming community. And of course, we've definitely had people who are not in the gaming community who've come on the show and, just like threw down some information for us. And I think that for me, I think that's been amazing because I enjoy learning more things about these like social issues that we talk about. And I feel like the people we've had on have basically surrounded themselves with, they just delved into all of that. They know a lot about it. And so it's really awesome to just have different perspectives, you know, and talk to someone who maybe has a different opinion than you do, or who maybe, you know, has a different insight and can basically, you know, give us some info. Sometimes it's good to have that. And for me, especially, I'm not the type to just, I don't enjoy reading books, really. Like, I enjoy, you know, talking about these things or learning about them through documentaries and things like that. I'm more of a, that kind of a learner, not a textbook learner. So things like that. I've especially loved that. Learning more things. I feel like when we learn, everyone that listens learns. Everyone that is listening learns. There, that's better. And so I feel like we're helping spread information. So I feel like we're doing a good thing. You know, would you say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I feel like we've helped people, you know?
I feel like we have too. I do feel like we have helped people. I mean, people have told me that we've helped them. And
yeah,
honestly, that means like a lot to me.
Yeah, that means a lot to me as well. I'm just happy that, you know, we're able to provide a safe space for people.
Exactly. And it's kind of tricky sometimes because everyone has different opinions, and so sometimes those opinions clash. But I feel like we've done a pretty good job of making sure that our chat and our little community that we're building isn't one of like negativity. Like, there's no real fighting going on, you know? There's kind of just like, I'll hear you out if you hear me out, you know? And that's kind of what I've been enjoying about us. Yeah. I know that there's some things that we've run into that we kind of like dealt with as they come. And there's going to be more, of course, because like we're people, like these things happen. And I just think so far so good. And I think with time, you know, things will get better. What kind of feedback have we received so far? We kind of just said about how people told us that we've helped them. But also, people have told us things like that the show has like a good, what's the word? Like a good setup. Sort of like we kind of, our topics and things like that do well with like blending into the next, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think that that's pretty good because I'm new at this. Luca's been doing this for a little while, but I feel like do you feel like you've been doing more behind the scenes work here?
Not really, no.
Compared to other shows?
No, I just show up.
You're such a lot. She's lying for the record. She totally gives me like so many ideas. We kind of like talk about, we do behind the scenes. We talk a lot about what we think would be good to talk about on the show and what would be entertaining for you all. And what would be something that we could like, you know, share with you all. I think that's something we both take into account when we talk about the show ideas and things like that. Like we don't want this to just be like something you can't relate to, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool because I mean we're friends in real life, so we kind of just want to know.
In real life?
Yeah, you always do this. We talk outside of the show, guys. Okay, so we want to know. Not only are we learning about each other, but we're also thinking about what we can learn from you and what we can, you know, help you all with. So, yeah. What has the show helped you? How has the show helped you, Luca?
Well, it's given me an outlet. A lot of things, a lot of crazy stuff happens to me on a daily basis, and there's a lot of bullshit. And I used to just like rant and rave to my friends and stuff. And I still do that for the most part, but it's nice to have like an outlet, a weekly outlet where I'm like, okay, I can use this for the show. That's usually like when some bullshit happens, I'm like, oh shit, I can use this for Speak. Great. Thank you for being a fuckface. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's so funny, right? Because before it would just make me kind of like angry. And then now instead it's kind of turned into a positive thing where I'm just like, oh, great. Some bullshit went down so I can talk about it on the show, you know? And that's pretty awesome because I don't get as angry anymore now. When I feel like
my anger issues have dissipated quite a bit from how they were at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but like not completely, right?
No, not completely. Which
same.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that we are both dealing with, guys. Like we get angry. Yeah, but I feel like the show has definitely helped with that aspect. It's definitely therapeutic. I feel like I can kind of, and honestly, sometimes I'll be real with you guys. Sometimes we plan super far in ahead about what we're going to talk about. And sometimes it's more just like, yo, what's bothering you this week? You know, especially when it comes to our like segments like, girl, let me tell you, fuck that shit. And but why though? Those are never planned ahead. Those are just like bullshit ass things that happen to us. We never know what each other's going to really talk about. Unless we've told each other the story beforehand. Because, you know, sometimes you got to like let it out super early and you can't wait for Sunday. But yeah, usually those things are kind of just, listen, last minute, this is what I'm talking about today. And the topics we plan a little bit ahead. But honestly, like, for example, this week, I definitely went to Luca and I was like, listen, what's burning? You know, like, what is it that you want to talk about this week? Because, yeah, like, what burning inside you? What do you fucking want to yell about, I guess? And then from there, went into another topic, and then it kind of just flowed. So, honestly, it just helps us to kind of, like, get rid of the pent-up annoyances and just fucking, you know? You just want to let it out. So that's been
and the
really
best
good.
part is it's like well, I'm not going out of my way to antagonize people to get them to do dumb shit, you know, for the show. It just happens naturally because people are just stupid. They're stupid. You just do dumb shit. And it's just like, wow, okay. And I just witness it and I'm just like, okay, right, cool. I'll just use this for the show. So
yeah. Seriously, especially when I'm on, the bus, the train, the fucking theater. Yes, the theater. Blue at the movies is definitely going to be a thing now because honestly, people just, I don't understand what it is, but it just seems like people just feel the need to be obnoxious, you know, but we shall talk about that later. With these questions, you heard our answers, so we definitely want to hear yours. Let us know in the comments later on when the show's up and tell us how you feel about the show, or you can email us if you want. The email address is right on the screen if you're looking, and we'll have it down in the information bar below. We definitely enjoy hearing from you, your tweets, your DMs, and all that stuff, but let us know a little bit more. And let us know specifically how it helped you. We would love that. And we'll read it on the show if you allow us to. So that'll be cool. We read a submission last week and it was pretty awesome. So if you want to definitely, you know, be on the show, you can record your voice, send it to us, or you can just write it out and we'll read it. I have a great reading voice. That was a joke. I do not have a great reading voice. But I will practice some more. We should have our own television series. How would that work, Luca? What if they threw us in a house together and just been like the real world with Luca and Blue? I think we would fight a lot.
I'm pretty sure we would be fighting a lot. I'm like 100% sure.
I think I would be like, did you eat
I feel like
my fucking cookies?
She would be nagging me all the time. She's like, Luca.
You would eat my cookies. Real talk.
First of all, I don't eat other people's food because my brother does it all the time. It's like some kind of trigger for me. So
did you not eat their pizza the other day though?
Listen, he's been stealing my food for years now, so I was like, all right.
You deserved it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just, you know, I know we would probably argue a lot, and then she'd have to go take a walk or something to calm down.
Wow. Tell me how you really feel.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
All right, let's get into our topic. Number 1. So, of course, the first topic is usually a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to talk about, but not necessarily, because, like, we'll get into it sometimes too. So, that's fine. We are going to be talking about rejection this week. And not only rejection in love, because there's that, but we're also going to be talking about just rejection in life. You can get rejected for
You okay?
What was that? Rejection?
I don't know.
I'm just making up words now. You can get rejected for a job. You can get rejected by family. You can get rejected by friends. Rejection is not easy, and we kind of want to talk about the ways in which we deal with that and what tips we can give you for, I guess, overcoming the hurt that comes with rejection. Luca, what specifically can you remember, I guess, or something that really is in your mind when it comes to when you hear the word rejection?
Well, I think when people hear rejection, automatically they think of like your love life, right? But if I think of rejection, I think of like me applying to a bunch of jobs and them not calling back. It's pretty rough. Especially it was especially rough when I was like struggling to find a job because I was afraid I was going to get kicked out. So that was a pretty hard period in my life. But when it comes to like love and stuff, I don't confess my feelings, so I've never been rejected. You know. Like, I mean, I don't confess first is what I'm saying.
Right.
I usually just wait for them to go away or for the other person to say something.
Because you're afraid?
I just, I don't want to ruin, like, the friendship, so I just keep my mouth shut.
Do you ever regret keeping your mouth shut?
No. There's never been an instance where I've like, man, golly gee, I sure wish I had said something to that person. But no, that's never,
golly gee.
That's never been a case before.
What is that? Golly gee, what?
Golly gee, it's like something I say now, starting today. It's my new saying.
Please don't. I reject that saying.
Oh, okay. All right. I reject your rejection. I'm still gonna say it. Golly gee.
I feel what you're saying about admitting your feelings for someone. That's scary, and especially if it's something that you feel like what you said, you don't want to ruin the friendship. That's something that is all too real. You can definitely ruin a friendship by admitting that you have feelings for someone if they don't feel the same. It's not something that I've done either. I have never told a friend I felt a particular way about them. But someone has done that to me, and I didn't feel the same way.
Yeah, confessing to you must be terrifying.
Why? Oh my God. What is this?
What is what? I'm
Why?
just saying I mean, they'd probably just be afraid that you'd say, you just be like, what's the word? You say ill a lot,
Are you inferring that I am like a mean person?
I don't think you're a mean person. I just think it'd be scary to confess to you. That's all.
Listen, I'm very nice, okay? Sometimes I'm too nice, all right? And what happens with these situations is that people take advantage. For example, me being nice to this person kind of like, yeah, I didn't hurt their feelings, but I kind of opened the door for them to kind of think that I like them back. And then it just like led to just weird, like the friendship was never the same after that. And it kind of just, I ended up being in a position that was not healthy for me. Sometimes you have to be blunt, and the problem with, apparently I'm scary. Okay. The problem with not being truthful and honest and upfront is that like people don't respect the way you feel, and they don't take you seriously. And so when you try and say things like, oh, okay, well, I mean, we can be friends, and like, I don't know, like, I don't like you right now, and like, you're a nice person, and like, you when you try and beat around the bush, it doesn't, it's not a good thing, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There's been like usually, okay, so the thing with me is like if I think someone likes me, I just completely ignore it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna pretend like this isn't happening. If they flirt with me, I'm like, oh, what? I'm gonna act like it's not happening until it gets to a point where it's like, whoa, it's clear that they're flirting with me, and then I have to say, listen, I appreciate your feelings, but I'm not looking for a relationship right now. And if it escalates from that, if they still are not getting it because I'm being nice, then I will be blunt and make sure they understand that I'm 100% not interested now and not going to be interested later.
I think that's important, the later part.
Yeah.
Because
especially important because you don't want I'm sorry, but like no, you don't want them to have any hope. You don't want them holding on to any hope. So you make sure like what I typically do is I evaluate the situation and I evaluate the person and I'm like, is there a chance that I could like fall for this person? And then I'm just like, huh. And then I weigh out the pros and cons and then I'm like, all right. And then I make sure to let them know like, hey, I'm not interested now and I doubt I'll be interested later.
Yeah, I think that if you don't mention that, people will definitely be like, all right, so maybe there's a chance. And that's what happened with me. Like, I feel like I didn't nip it right away, and so it kind of left this like, well, maybe it'll happen eventually kind of thing. And then forever after, it was just this playing game thing. Like the person would just like not really, it was super awkward, right? Because there was this like we were friends, but they would constantly flirt with me, and then I would try to sort of like dodge and like duck and weave and kind of like not flirt back. But I had an issue, and I think I kind of still do, but especially when I was younger, where I'm super flirtatious.
You are?
I was a lot, very much so. It still comes out sometimes now, and I have to kind of like tell myself like, yo, calm the fuck down. What are you doing? Because people get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, it was really bad though, because I would be like, so, hi. That was really bad. And people would be like, oh, she likes me. And I was like, no, I don't like you.
Honestly, you could like smile at a guy and he would think you like him. So I don't think you were doing anything extra on your part, ma'am.
I was kind of extra though. I have to admit it. Like I was kind of extra. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why I was doing it. I don't know what the fuck, but I was definitely extra when I was younger. But like now, I'm a little bit more direct and blunt, and I guess that's like the complete opposite. And so now I'm kind of just like turning people off away from me. And oh well, what are you gonna do? Either way, I get in trouble. I can't find my in between. Like it's a problem. I'm kind of like, I go extreme sometimes when things affect me in a particular way. I kind of like go the other way and just like keep driving forward, you know? And it hurts me sometimes and it helps me sometimes, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna freaking do? But yeah,
I don't know. It's especially difficult when the person who has a crush on you is like one of your really good friends. It's just kind of like, oh God, because you don't want to like hurt their feelings or ruin the friendship. I feel like I've dealt with this before. Oh, okay, I dealt with it in a video game. All right. What? Okay, so Dragon Age Origins, there's like a romance system, and I was romancing one person, and my friend in the game, he was like hitting on me and stuff, and I was like, I'm just not interested, man. And then his friendship level went down, like all the way down, so I had to build back that trust, get the because it was like a little heart system, you get more hearts the more that they liked you and stuff, or something like that. I don't know if it was hearts exactly, but it let you know how like your friendship level with them. So yeah, so I can relate to that.
You are literally relating this to a video game. Fucking
Absolutely
hilarious. Video games are life. Dude, I'm just, I don't know. I kind of feel like hurting someone's feelings is not always fun, right? But sometimes it's like you have to do it. It's inevitable. Like you have to do it and salvage what you can from the friendship if you can, because sometimes if people are mature enough, they can, you know, take that in stride and sort of let themselves heal and then come back and be friends again. Especially if they've moved on, you know, it helps a lot more. But yeah, it sucks. It really does. To hurt someone's feelings definitely sucks if you care about them. Now, if you don't care about them, I mean, yeah, just be like, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Some people take rejection really badly. Have you heard stories of like people getting knifed to death for being for rejecting someone?
Oh my God. So my friends, so my friend, right? She was at this gay bar, right? And she was talking to this like
Why are you laughing before you say the story? I hate when you do that.
She was talking to this girl that she thought was like really hot, right? And then she went to the bathroom and the girl's ex-girlfriend came up to her and was like, hey, listen, you don't want anything to do with that, okay? Like she tried to stab me and she showed
oh my God.
She showed my friend the stab.
Oh my God.
That shit had me rolling, dude. So yeah, I've heard stories.
That's kind of scary. What the fuck? Why are you laughing about that?
Because it's funny.
Oh my God,
because my friend is always in situations like that with like her exes. All of her exes are fucking crazy. So
yo, the stab wound though. Like I would run. Did she run?
She like tried to escape.
Escape. Oh nah. No, not a fan. I'm not interested in like getting into crazy ass situations like that. Like, oh my God, stab wound. I cannot.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Dude, I would run. I've never been in like a friendship or a weird relationship with anyone that was like that crazy. I know people who were kind of so affected by, you know, rejection that they've gotten into like a super depressive state and like wanted to take their own lives and things like that, which is a bit, you know, sad to witness.
Yeah, it is really sad, especially because it's like
it's a part of life, like rejection in general.
No, I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. I saw something interesting. But oh shit, what did you say?
That I know someone who wanted to take their own lives for being rejected.
Oh, right. Okay, honestly, I mean, I know this is hard to hear for people who have like depression and stuff, but there's like millions of people in this world. You'll find someone else. Like, you know, there's really no point in trying to take your life with that kind of stuff because there's millions of people, and I'm sure you are guaranteed to find people who are interested in being with you. So you shouldn't like focus all of your attention on just one person and get so wrapped up in them that you want to kill yourself just because they don't like you. Because that also just shows that you are not stable enough to be in a relationship in the first place. You know what I mean? Especially with that person. Because can you imagine if you with that person and you got into an argument or whatever, and then they're like just over here like, I'm gonna kill myself because you said that you don't like my shirt or some dumb shit like that, you know? So I've been like, I'm just trying to think. I mean, I'm sure I've been in situations where my depression's gotten the best of me because someone's rejected me, but as you can see, I'm still here, so you get over it.
I definitely think that like I said, rejection is a part of life, and so if you get that affected by someone rejecting you, then you're in for a long haul, because like it's gonna happen again, you know, whether it's love or, you know, job or, you know, other things. What other things do you get rejected for? Friendships. Definitely been rejected as a friend.
You've been rejected as a friend? The fuck?
Yeah. Not recently. just
How do
in
you
high
get
school.
rejected? How do you get rejected as a friend?
Because I am the way I am no matter where I am, right? So I'm a bit much. Some people can't handle it. So they're just like, all right, I can't take this on. And so they'll just be like, yeah, I don't think we should be friends anymore. And then I was like, bye, bitch.
Oh, you know what? That actually has happened to me once. It was me and these two other girls. We were all like, we were really, really close. And then one of the girls started pulling away. And,
I mean,
me and my other friend were really upset about it. I mean, okay, so we could see it coming. And I was at that point in my life where I was able to cut people off very easily because I was compartmentalizing my emotions. So I was upset for like a day and then I got over it. I was like, she's dead to me. I don't care. It's whatever. Bye. Like, it's whatever. I don't care. I don't care. And then my other friend was really upset about it. So I've been in situations like that where our friend has just been like, no, I'm not interested in being friends anymore. But the thing of it is, I can't even remember what this girl's name is. So, I mean, you get over it, you know?
I don't remember what her name is.
I don't remember what her name is. I remember my other friend's name,
real.
but I don't remember this girl's name.
I feel like, all right, it didn't happen like that. Like, people weren't just like, yeah, we shouldn't be friends. It was more just like what you said, they pull away.
Yeah.
I haven't met too many confrontational people in my life.
Other than me, right? Yeah.
Listen, this ain't about you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I haven't met too many confrontational people. Luca's one, yes. But there's a lot of people who would rather avoid conflict and just sort of dodge you until you just stop trying. And, that's happened a lot in my life. And so if I do confront someone about it, it's because I actually care. And a lot of the times I don't care that much. I've had a lot of people who are around just because of particular things. Like, for example, I had someone who I was cool with in high school. And then once we graduated high school, we just stopped talking. And I do this thing where I give people chances, right? And once I've given you a few chances, I'm kind of just done. Like, I'm not going to chase someone, I don't feel like I should put, like, I have self-worth, so I'm not going to just keep on bothering someone if I feel like there's no point. If you're not getting back to me, if you're not trying also, then I'm not fucking doing this anymore,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Yeah, so things like that happen. And then, of course, there are people who will just tell their friends, and their friends are cool with me, so they'll just be like, yeah, this person said this, and I'm like, well, another one bites the dust, because I don't give a fuck, especially if it's someone who I wasn't trying to be cool with in the first place. But it's especially funny when they try and avoid you when you're with the person that they're cool with too, when that happens. It's kind of funny. But those things I don't really take to heart. I don't, not everyone's going to get along with you, and it's fine. It's a part of life. Like I said, you're not going to get along with everyone. And I honestly think that it's important to stay true to yourself. So it's fine. It happens. Rejection's part of life with friendships too. And it's something that you learn as you grow older. I mean, when it happens to kids, they get sad, they cry, and you tell them, it's okay. You'll find another friend, right? It's okay. Keep trying, try again. And, we kind of explain that to them as adults because we know, because we've been through it. So if you feel that you are having a tough time, it's especially hard when shit's not going good for you in general, right? If you're being rejected in love, if you're being rejected with friendships, if you're being rejected with your family, and professional life, if it keeps happening, then I can see, that will definitely put you down in the dumps. How do you deal with things like that when everything's just
falling apart?
Up? Yeah.
How do I cope? I used to cope a lot better. My coping skills have depleted as the year has gone by. But I would watch something to take my mind off stuff. And then, I will let myself be depressed, and then I'll try to figure out what to do so things can be better. Even if it's just in one aspect of my life, I'll focus on something that I do have power over and that I can change, that's productive and healthy for me and not self-destructive.
Right. I think what comes into play with this stuff too is self-evaluation. If you notice that the same things keep happening to you, I think that it's a good time to think about what you may be. I mean, not to say that people rejecting you is your fault, because it might not necessarily be the case. People are sometimes dickheads and they don't see good things when they're in front of them. But sometimes I do think that it's good to sit down and think to yourself, yo, maybe I shouldn't be so loud sometimes when people first meet you. Like, maybe I shouldn't yell at them about stuff. These are just things I tell myself sometimes. When I first meet people, I can kind of come off as a bit much. And so I've thought about, first impressions and like what is something that would off-put me if I meet someone. And then I'm like, probably a good thing to take that into consideration. But at the same time, not completely changing who I am, just kind of sort of thinking about, all right, this person doesn't know me, so they might not necessarily know that I'm joking, so I might need to come at this differently,
Oh yeah, I definitely, if I meet someone for the first time, I'm definitely not going to hop in there and like joke with them, and the joke could come off as an insult. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very I like to think that I'm approachable. I know that there's been a few people who are like, "Oh, Luca, I was afraid to like message you or talk to you because like, you're always curb stomping people." But it's like my DMs are open, and I get a lot of messages on Twitter and also on Xbox, and people just coming to me and talking to me about their lives and what they like to do. And it's pretty cool. I like it. And I'm happy that people feel like they can come and talk to me. And I try to respond back to everyone, but I do get a lot of messages. And so sorry that anyone.
Yeah, it's so popular.
I don't think I'm popular. I think that people just consider me someone they could be friends with potentially, and they want to get to know me, and that's cool. That's really cool. I like meeting a bunch of new people and interacting with different people in the community. I've met a lot of really, really cool people, and I've gained with a lot of really cool people because of that. So I'm thankful, I'm thankful for everything that I have right now in my life.
Mm-hmm. I do think that people kind of people can get the wrong idea about you if they don't take the time to get to know you, or if they don't try. I kind of tell this to everyone. I don't be afraid to try, because you could very well be closing the door on yourself to something that could be amazing, if you're afraid of, okay, so for example, people have said to me that they're afraid to come to me about things, and I tell them all the time, like, I'm not going to fuck you up just because you asked me a question. Like, I'm not like that. That's kind of stupid. Just, if you're not afraid to do it, then you might be surprised, right? So like, for example, if I'm thinking about messaging someone about something and it might be a little bit controversial, I'm going to come at it in a particular way so that they see that I'm not trying to start something, right? So if you think about your approach, then it's helpful. And then it lessens your chances for, a curb stomp, as you put it. But I don't know. I think that if you a lot of the times I feel like people have to buck up and just be like strong about it. Just don't be afraid. Like, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It happens sometimes where you just don't get what you want, and then you can try again later, or you can just say, all right, well, that's that.
Yeah,
Um,
Foxy actually asked a really good question. She's like, what about being rejected by someone who's going through a rough time? Would you go back and try again? I think it depends on how they reject you. Like, if they're like, hey, I'm not doing so well right now, I'm not in the right place to be in a relationship. I appreciate you coming to me and telling me you have feelings for me or whatever, then maybe, maybe if they're doing better. But I don't know. Like, I don't know about that,
I think
fam.
it's something to think about because I feel like, well, first of all, I mean, not everyone's like me, right? So I'm not gonna just go and say why people should do things or why they should. Like, personally, I wouldn't reject someone, as we were putting it, if I'm going through a hard time. Like, if we're talking, if we're talking things like, you're just like not in the right mindset to kind of take on a new friend or take on a new, relationship or something like that, and the timing was wrong on their part, like I would let them know, like, hey, especially, I mean, of course, if it's not something that you're interested in, if you're not interested in the person, then don't, just, yeah, no. But if you're interested in like the person as a friend or something like that, then I would just make it known, like, hey, I'm going through a rough time right now, but I really want to, get to know you better. I just need some time, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of easy to say things like that. Um, I know sometimes people, and of course, it's all about context. If you have never had a conversation with them, it's probably a good idea not to talk to them when you're going through a shitty time, unless they are reaching out to you because you're going through a shitty time. You might make someone a friend that way, but I
Yeah.
definitely understand with like needing time away from things, especially when we're talking the internet world, like DMs and party chats and all that shit. Like, there's some times where you just need to get away. And that's not necessarily rejecting anyone. That's just self-help. And if you don't help yourself, then you can't be a good friend or a good, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner to anyone.
Yeah, I really think that if someone's going through a rough time, the last thing they need to do is try to pursue a relationship because um they're just not in the right mindset for it. Like, if you don't have your shit together, you don't need to be trying to talk to someone. I mean, I guess that's kind of like, I saw this post the other day where someone was like, "Oh, so you're saying people with depression shouldn't be in relationships?" And I'm just kind of like, I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that you can have depression and live with it, but you need to make sure that you are not on a decline when you start talking to someone and if you want to be in a relationship with them, because it's not fair to put those darker aspects of depression on someone that you just started dating.
I agree. I feel like we keep talking about relationships, right? So let's kind of talk about other ways that we have dealt with rejection, in particular professional life. I don't know how many of you are in that world, but when I was searching for positions, that shit was stressful. I found myself kind of really affected by the fact that no one wanted to hire me. Um, and at first, it's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Just keep on going. Like, you can do this, right? But then after a while, you're just like, yo, like, what is happening? I'm super qualified. I know that I did well in the interview. What is it that's making this not happen for me? Um, and I went through a little bit of time where I didn't have a job, and I was like, I really needed a job. I had bills to pay, and nothing was working. Like, I went to so many job interviews, and that shit was so stressful. And you start, you start losing your self-esteem because you think like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe all this shit that I put down on my, resume is bullshit. Like, and they see through it, right? Like, maybe I have a what is it, a reference that is not good. Like, maybe I should rethink that. Just all these things that you kind of rethink and sort of, I don't know, second guess, I guess, when you're going through that, because it's competitive, right? You're going to an interview and you're competing against however many people they've interviewed for that same position. And, you know, while you may think that your interview went well, you don't know what they're thinking. Like, it's literally putting yourself on this like stage and they're basically judging you. You don't know what they're thinking in their head, the person that's interviewing you, and you don't know what it is that they're looking for. So it's kind of just this like crapshoot that you're just dealing with, where you're just like, all right, well, I'm going to give it my all. And if you give it your all and your all wasn't good enough, then what the fuck, right? What am I doing? If I'm giving it my all and it's still not getting me what I'm trying to get. That rejection, I feel like, is one that can fuck you up. I know rejection in love definitely fucks you up too, because it's super vulnerable, but people don't think about that, right? When you're unless you go through it, when you're putting yourself out there professionally, because when you're setting yourself up professionally, it's definitely something that is more in your control, right? The things that you do set up your resume, right? You decide what to put on your resume. You decide how to format your resume. All these things that you're making the decisions to do to kind of display yourself as a particular kind of professional. And you're putting, you know, what you think is the best part of you out there, right? And so when people shit all over it, it's kind of like, you know, all your hard work down the drain. And with love, it's more just like, this is how I am, you know? I can't really control it all the time. Like, this is just who I am. With that, it's kind of like I'm deciding what good things to put about myself on here. So you're kind of like creating this masterpiece, and then the masterpiece just gets like shitted on when no one hires you. It's sort of if you're in that world, it's sort of, I would say, kind of like at the same level when it comes to love, because you're super vulnerable after like 20 interviews and like no one's hiring you. So me in particular, I feel like I've dealt with things like that, or in that time in my life, by going to people who A, have been through it, and B, know what they're talking about. If you have friends that are in this world and you ask them like, hey, can we do like a mock interview? Can we, you know, can you look at my resume? Can you help me with this, right? Because asking for help is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you have to be brave to ask for help. And so I did it, and I was able to get some recommendations as to like what to change and what to do. And I don't know if it was that, and I don't know if it was just luck, but eventually I did find a position. Some of those positions didn't work out because people are fucking bitches, but yeah, I was able to learn more things that helped me, right? Which is always a good thing. Sometimes you have to go through negative situations. Sometimes you have to go through rejection in order to come out stronger. And I know that sounds super cliche, like, what is this, a movie? Like, sometimes the cliche sayings are fucking true. I'm sorry to say. Like, I came out stronger from that time in my life. And now I know when I go to interviews that, you know, I'll have a different kind of outlook on it. And that gives you a different kind of confidence. And that confidence shows through. And, you know, you might get that and you might not. Honestly, you'll never know. It's always one of those things. Of course, there's more to go with all of this. Like, the professional world, there's like lots of information that can be given. But just in terms of the rejection part, I feel like that's important. What about you, Luca? Luca's falling asleep on me.
I wasn't falling asleep, ma'am. I'm looking at the chat.
I know.
Okay, but yeah, no, I think that everything happens for a reason, and I personally feel like all of the jobs I've had have helped shape me as a person, and they helped me in little ways. You know what I mean? Like, the job I had like 4 years ago helped me in my current position now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that, and it's like Garuda was saying in the chat, looking for a job is almost like a job in itself. You know what I mean? That's what my mom says all the time. I go to my mom for a lot of my advice when it comes to job searching, and she helped me with my resume as well, and like with the mock interviews and all that stuff. So I've never really felt, I don't know, like if I don't hear back from a position, then I don't really feel anything about it. I keep my expectations extremely low with everything that I do in my life, but especially when I'm looking for positions, because I don't expect to hear back from anyone ever. Matter of fact, I remember I applied to, like, the last job I had, I applied to it and I didn't think they'd actually call me back. And then even when I was doing the interviews, I didn't actually think I'd get the job. I was like, okay, this is fine. So you keep your expectations low, and that way you can have a nice little surprise when things end up working out. And if things don't work out, you can be like, well, I wasn't too worried about it in the first place. But I'm sorry you had to go through that, hopefully things will be a bit easier for you in your job searches in the future.
I'm fine now. Like, I got my shit locked down. These people are not gonna want to let me go anytime soon. But it's definitely, I mean, the thing with what I'm doing right now, professionally, it's kind of one of those things where there's a certain amount of time that they'll need me for, and then I have to move on to a new family. So for the meantime, I'm fine. I've been here for almost 2 years. So I won't be needing to figure that out unless something crazy happens for a little while. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, of course, this happens with like when you're applying to schools, when you're applying to jobs, when you're applying for scholarships, all those things. Yeah, those are definitely things that I've, been through, and I think that it's a different kind of feeling. It's a different kind of rejection, but definitely still valid. It messes with your head, if you let it. It can mess you up. But we definitely, I think that if you kind of just remember the tips, and remember that it's not always on you, then you can kind of, I mean, with everything, with love too, it's not always on you. Some people just people make mistakes, right? Like, people kind of, like, that whole thing that you see in the movies and, TV shows, it's kind of true. If the girl doesn't fall for the guy because the girl's into the bad boy, like that kind of thing that we see in movies, super, weird, but true. It's the same in life. Yeah, sometimes people can't see outside of themselves and their world. So definitely try to take that into account when you are dealing with this stuff. And then sometimes, also evaluate yourself. It's always good to just look into yourself every now and again. It's good to grow that way. So yeah, I think we talked about a lot here. If you have any stories of rejection, and if you feel like we didn't cover something, definitely let us know in the comments later on today. And we can talk about it more another time if you want. There's definitely more, of course. There's always more with these topics that we decide to talk about. But in our experiences, this is what we've dealt with. So let's move on. Next, we're going to do Girl, Let Me Tell Ya. Girl, Let Me Tell You, where we give you our little stories about things that happened to us in the last week, or not, sometimes longer. What's your Girl, Let Me Tell You this week, Luca?
All right, well, mine's really short. Listen, girl, let me tell you, I was minding my business as per usual. I went to Wendy's. As per usual, I went to Wendy's, and this Wendy's, I'm always having issues with it. Like, people just act like they don't have any goddamn home training. But I'm sitting in the drive-thru waiting for them to get my order of chicken nuggets because they take 18 years to get my food at all times. And someone like is trying to drive through. Now, okay, the way some people enter, you have to like drive around to get in the line properly, but some people just try to scoot into the line without driving around, even though that area says dead end. And I'm like, all right, so this person decides to just like drive up on someone who's covering like the way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know, there's someone covering the way to get out, so there's also that. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with these people, right? But they just kept honking and honking trying to drive through, and I'm just sitting in my car like, it says do not enter this way. Can you not read? Like, I really hate driving in general, but I especially hate driving in the area that I live in because no one knows how to fucking drive. I think we all went to the same place to get our licenses because that's can be the only explanation, because I also don't know how to drive. So, yeah. Yeah. I got my chicken nuggets though, so I guess, you know, I guess that's what
It
matters.
ended well, I guess. Oh, okay. Wow. Girl, let me tell you. Remember how I went to Maryland recently, or sort of recently, and I was on the bus for 5 hours? Talk about ultimate blue on the bus. Yeah, I have like a bunch of stories from that. And so let's do the first one today, because we last week we didn't get into it, but the first one, ultimate blue on the bus. Oh my god, that shit was torture. All right, so I'm sitting diagonal, yeah, from this guy. So the bus was super packed, and they definitely didn't like set it up in a way where if you get there first, you get to sit on the bus first, right? That's the idea. They don't care if you got 2 tickets with each other. Like, it doesn't matter. You just get whatever seat you want. And so I had to kind of find a seat sort of wherever on the bus. I don't know, whatever. There was just like people sitting in their own like seats, and everyone had their bags next to them. So I was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, excuse, move, please. Anyhow, there's a guy across or diagonal from me, and he's sitting next to this lady who was with someone on the bus, but they had to sit separately. And the guy decides that he's going to yell at this lady because apparently her headphones were too loud. And he's like, hey, your headphones are too loud. And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, your headphones are too loud. And she's like, and he's like, either you lower them or turn them off. And she's like, are you serious? And he's like, yes, I'm serious. I can't believe you would even ask me that. He's like super loud, and he's just like shaking his head and just being like, you know, I just can't believe it. Like, your headphones are so loud, and I'm sitting right next to you, and it's just so rude. And she's just there quiet, super quiet, not saying anything. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to put mine on, and whatever, it's fine. And then she just like shakes her head and puts her earbud back in and just kind of like looks out the window. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, I felt super bad for her because she didn't seem like someone who would kind of defend herself. And I was also kind of pissed off because I'm just like, dude, you're on a fucking bus. What the hell are you doing? Like, who? First of all, this ain't your bus, motherfucker. If you care that much, then get a car. You know, like, you can rent a car and like drive yourself wherever it is that you want to go. And then I don't appreciate the fact that you think it's okay to yell at this woman about something that she can't control, the fact that her earphones bleed. Like, it's kind of something that happens with earphones. What the fuck? Like, what do you mean lower them? Like, the fact that she has earphones on is enough, you know? I kind of feel like, I don't know where he's from, but I've seen all the time where people just play shit from their speakers. Like, no one was on the phone screaming, you know, that typical things that you hear about the bus rides. No, she had her earphones on. She was just listening to music, super chill. And he just had to be the one to just be like, lower them or turn them off. Like, who are you? Anyway, I'm glad that it wasn't me, because he would have had a fucking mouthful. And
Yeah,
he's just lucky that I was not trying to get into it. I didn't want to like get into it with that guy over a lady that I didn't know. She kind of ignored him and like kept it going. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, super obnoxious, super like condescending and entitled. Like, dude, you're on a fucking bus. Get over yourself, honestly. But yeah, that was my girl. Let me tell you. I don't know. I don't like people like that.
Yeah, I hate everyone. So
I don't know. You could have just put your headphones on without saying anything. Why did you have to yell at her again? Like, what did that solve? No. Anyway, all right. We're gonna get into our serious topic. I keep doing that. Today we're gonna talk about disappointment. So this is an interesting topic for me in particular, because when I think of disappointment, I think of the situation I had growing up with my dad. And I think about, the disappointment I felt when I was growing up. But of course, we are going to talk about just disappointment with lots of things like friends, love, all that good stuff. What do you think about when you think about disappointment?
God, I've been disappointed so much in my life. I don't even know where to start. It usually happens with my relationships and my friendships. You know, I used to expect a lot out of people, and expecting things from people has done nothing but hurt me, really. I mean, at this point in my life, I have like a really good group of friends who care about me and love me and stuff. But like a few years ago, I don't know, like I've just learned to stop expecting anything from people. And me not expecting anything from people has actually worked out for me. Like take for instance, a couple of girls that I'm friends with, they got me a Christmas present last year and I didn't expect them to get me anything. I mean, I had spent the entire year like doing really nice stuff for them and like stuff for their birthdays and stuff, and I got them Christmas presents as well, but I was just like I was doing it because I cared about them and I loved them, and not because I was expecting for them to give me anything back. Mm-hmm. So when it turned out that they did get me something, I was like shocked and really happy about it as well. And I got something from them for my birthday as well. I actually got a lot of stuff for my birthday this year, and it was like kind of crazy because last year I didn't get anything from anyone. So I don't know. I've just learned to stop expecting things from people, and that way you're less likely to get disappointed when things don't work out, you know, if you don't place any expectations on anyone.
So, okay, so I feel kind of like torn when it comes to that. I feel that people should want to give their best to others. When it comes to giving people chances and sort of letting them slide with things, I'm kind of jaded when it comes to it, because I don't know. I feel like, yes, people deserve chances, of course. But at the same time, if people are not treating you the best that they can, then I'm just going to be like, fuck you. You know, like I'm not with that. When I was younger, most of the time, the disappointment that I felt came from my dad, as I said. And a lot of the times, like, my dad wasn't necessarily in my life much when I was younger. Him and my mom kind of had, issues. And so whenever we like made a plan to meet up and things like that, I found myself super excited, like, oh, my dad's coming to, visit, and we're going to go do this, that, have fun. And there were countless times where he just never showed up. And it became one of those things where I would, I was the oldest of my sisters, so I was always the one that was calling to see like where he was, because I could use the phone, and he wouldn't answer like the entire day. We wouldn't exactly know what happened, and then my mom would kind of, I guess, yell at him from behind the scenes, but it's not anything that we kind of knew about. She kind of would talk to him or yell at him, later down the line. And so after a while, it became just the norm. Like, I literally would be like, oh, your dad's going to come see you. And I was like, if he shows up, I guess. And if you think about that, that's really sad, because your father should be there for you. Your parent should be there for you. And I've gotten used to him not showing up, and just sort of, when he did show up, being surprised, which is fucked up. And to this day, if he ever, we talk here and there, and we'll visit here and there. And if he ever, does say like, hey, I'm going to come over, like, are you available? First of all, I made sure that he asked me if I'm available now, because before he used to just show up and expect me to be, ready. And I was like, nah, I have plans, not happening. So now he's actually gotten to the point where he'll ask me like, are you available? And I'll tell him, yeah, sure. But I don't revolve my day around it. If he shows up, he shows up. And it's interesting because lately, now that I'm older and now that I don't really care about it, he actually shows up. And so
twins, my dad does that as well.
It's so fucking stupid. I don't understand. Like, when it mattered, you weren't there, and then now you are. And it's kind of like, I'm over it. Like, yeah, you're my dad. Like, I don't hate you, because before I had so much resentment towards him, because I felt like a lot of my issues were from that, right? Whatever. At this point, I'm grown, and I kind of work on myself and my issues. They're still there, but I take responsibility for my own actions. And so I'm not going to be like, yeah, it's your fault, Dad, and just like not do anything about it. That's fucking stupid. Like, if you're an adult, you have to work on yourself. But, yeah, at this point, I'm just sort of like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Fine. We can go for dinner if you want. No problem. It's fine. And he knows that. He knows it. Like, he's realized the way I feel about it, and he doesn't question me on it anymore. He used to, but not anymore. And we just kind of, it's just like a mutual thing. Like, we joke around and we talk and we chill, and then all right, bye. And then I go home and he goes home, and that's it. Like, it's kind of just, it's not a typical father-daughter relationship that you would see in, I don't know, on TV. It's not like that at all. But at the same time, there's no contempt there. Like, I don't hate him, and I don't like yell at him and like, oh, I'm not going to see you. Like, it's fine. I'll go. But yeah, a lot of that came from that. And so I feel you when you say, if you don't expect anything from people, then you're never disappointed. And I definitely went through a time in my life where I did that, where I sort of just like didn't expect anything from anyone and kind of shut myself off from people. And I realized at some point that you close yourself off to a lot of good things that way too, right? You close yourself off to the bad, and so you're protecting yourself, right? But you also close yourself off to the good. And so you can't make super meaningful relationships if you constantly expect nothing from people. And then when it's nice to get surprised, right? Like you said, how people surprise you by doing something nice for you. Because that feeling is sort of like something that is not really easily explained. Like, it feels really good when someone does something nice for you and you don't expect it. But at the same time, I felt like I was doing wrong by people who were trying to be sort of a good thing in my life, right? Some people noticed, and they sort of had this thing where just like, okay, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why does it feel like you don't, like me? Or why does it feel like you aren't trying? Or, things like that. And then other people didn't notice. They just kind of fell off and just thought of it as just like me not being super interested in them. It just has its negatives. While you're protecting yourself and you're protecting your heart, you're also kind of keeping people at arm's length, you know? And so I don't think I've found my middle ground. I definitely still have a guard up. I definitely still expect the worst out of people sometimes. At the same time, I try to find the good in some people. I try to open myself up to friendships. I try sometimes to sort of get along with my family, because this has definitely affected the way I am with my siblings and my mom and other people in my family. So I don't have the answer, it's obviously, but what I'm saying is that it's a process, and when shit like this happens, you kind of lose sight of the good relationships, and it sucks, but at the same time, you know what not to do, right? So there's that. You know that if someone's good in your life, you're gonna be good to them as much as you can be, and so I think that that's the positive that's come from this. I'm definitely aware of the fact that I'm hurting someone if I'm hurting them. And I'm definitely, I try to not hurt people. I try to make sure that my actions don't, necessarily run someone over. Because I feel like I know what that feels like. And I'm definitely aware of the fact that when I do have a child one day, I know that I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be that parent that disappears, because I know what the fuck that feels like. And yeah, I'm not doing that to my kid if I have a child. So, yeah.
Awesome. Great insight.
Yeah,
my dad wasn't around when I was growing up either, but I don't know what it was exactly, but I've never really felt connected to him, nor was I ever interested in getting to know him. Like I just never cared. So when he showed up again when I was like 18, I was already like, okay. Like I was just never interested in talking to him or doing anything with him. I feel mostly obligated to spend time with him. And I don't do it very often, maybe like once a year, and that's barely, he's always like inviting me to like family cookouts with his family and like trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you, man. And he thinks it's like out of malicious intent or something, but it's just kind of like, you weren't around and I just didn't care that you weren't around, because I had a father figure in my life. I had my grandfather, and my grandfather took very good care of me. And so I just I don't know, like it would have been interesting, I guess it would have been cool having a dad growing up, but I didn't, and I'm fine. I mean, I'm not fine, but like I could be a lot worse. So yeah. Yeah, and in terms of like keeping people at arm's length, I don't know, this year especially, I've just gotten a lot better with that. Like I have met and become friends with some really, really amazing people, and I spend time with these people, and it's great, right? Like I used to like not ask my friends to hang out or anything like that, or if I did ask them to hang out, I would expect them to cancel on me. Or if I become friends with someone, then I don't expect our friendship to last or anything. But I've met like some people who if I make plans with them, they actually show up and like who care about me, who like just love me. And it's such a nice feeling having that, like knowing that I could call someone and go over to their place and just be with them and just chill. It's different for me. It's new, because I didn't have that until this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I've met like some really amazing people in the Xbox community who I feel like I can go to, and like who I trust and who've been there for me, and that's amazing. And there's been like there's just been certain people who have made it so well, it's just good. It's just a good thing. It's just a good friendship, and I'm not used to that, but it's just good all the time. And even when one of us isn't feeling that great, it's still it's like healthy relationships, you
Mm-hmm.
know, healthy friendships. I've never really had that until this year. And it's in my like Twitter life, my Xbox life, and it's in my day-to-day life as well. So it's like I'm covered on both ends, and I'm just friends with some really amazing people, and I don't feel that overwhelming need to protect myself anymore because it's kind of like they got me, you know? Like my
Mm-hmm.
friends have me. I'm safe. I'm good. I don't have to worry about them hurting me. And that is an amazing feeling.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Um, it's interesting, right? Because when you are, when you're hurt, like when you grew up with like disappointment and I mean, your parent not being there, if it affects you, right? And it affects your relationships in your future, not only romantic, definitely with friendships too. And um, for me in particular, it affects how I feel when things happen. Um, I think I feel it a lot more than I guess a normal person would. If I if I have a connection with someone and they make me feel like shit, it kind of goes deeper, you know? Why are you coughing?
You know, I just, um, you know, I love you, right? I'm just saying. Okay. 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 Keep going. Sorry. Go
Are
ahead.
you making fun of me? I'm so confused.
No, no, I would never make fun of you. I never make anyone make any, wow. I never make fun of anyone because I don't even know
Mm.
what making fun of people is like. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
know who making fun of is. Who
Mm-hmm.
is she, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, okay. So like how many chances should people get? I guess this is a question that I mean, me in particular, I'm not big on like chances. Like I kind of feel like when you fuck up, like you fuck up, right? And I'm trying to sort of change that a little bit when it comes to like super meaningful relationships because I feel that I have to remember that people make mistakes, including myself. Um, and I don't know if I have a number anymore. Before I used to be like, look, you have two chances, and if you don't get your shit together, then you got to go, right? But now I'm kind of just rethinking it in terms of like if there should be a number, only because I kind of feel like if you're willing to talk about your fuck ups and you're just like I'm sorry, you know, like I fucked up and we can delve deeper into why and you know like what can change about it, then that's healthy, you know, being able to talk about it and mend it, then that's a good thing. um but at the same time, if people continue to hurt you, at what point do you just say like, okay, this is not working, this is not a good relationship and you need to walk away?
I think, you know, it's like what Slick is saying in the chat. It depends on the situation and what happened. And I also think it depends a lot on the person who hurt you, right? Because I have some people in my life who I am more willing to forgive and let them get away with certain things than other people in my life, even though it's not necessarily a good thing. But I am aware that it's not a good thing. So I don't know, fam. I don't know. I think it's as long as the person's willing to like actually talk to you about things and
Mm-hmm.
change for
And
the
work on
better
it.
and like work on your friendship or relationship, then that can work out. But if someone, say for instance, does something fucked up, you call them out for it, and then they get pissed at you, and then the next day come to you apologizing, and then they do that over and over again, then that's not like a productive friendship. That's just you realizing, hey, this person is going to keep doing these things. They don't actually want to change. And if I just keep forgiving them, nothing is going to change for them. They're just going to keep doing whatever they want to do. So
Right.
it depends on the person and the situation, at least for me. I've gotten a lot better with the whole like cutting people off thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do
I
you
haven't
feel
done
like
that
cutting people
all year,
off?
so
Okay. Did you change it because you feel like cutting people off wasn't exactly a healthy way to deal with it?
Um,
Because I mean, if you think about how people make mistakes, if we just cut someone out, right, just because of someone making a mistake, is that necessarily a good thing? Like, when you've made a mistake and if someone cut you off, would you feel that that was like, you know, a healthy response?
um, I mean, no, it's absolutely not healthy, but yeah, it's not healthy. I stopped doing it mostly just because I couldn't do it anymore because the relationships I was forming and the way I was feeling about certain people made it harder for me to cut them off. So I just can't do it. That's really what it comes down to. I used to be a lot colder, I think, when it comes to that kind of stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I do agree with you. It is definitely not healthy. It's not the right way to cope with situations. It's not good. It's not good.
I mean, of course,
It's
there's
actually,
definitely the times where you need to cut people off, right? When they are abusive, for sure. When
yeah.
they are doing things to you that you have explained hurt you and they continue to do them for whatever reason, because it might not necessarily be intentionally to hurt you, but it may be hurting you and they still know that it's hurting you and they continue to do it because they can't stop themselves, maybe, or, whatever.
Oh, that's bullshit. Like, you can't stop yourself from being a dickhead. Come on. You know?
Well, let's think about things like, let's think about, for example, if you have someone that is your friend and they are dealing with alcoholism and them drinking hurts you somehow, like they treat you like shit when they're drunk, or, things like that. It's hard because you feel like you want to be there for them as a friend and help them get
Nah.
through it.
Drugs and alcohol, if people are abusing that, like I'm not with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in for that situation. I had a friend whose ex-girlfriend was heavy into drugs and it fucked him up really badly. So I'm like, no, that's a no for me, dog. And one of my friends, like when we were 21, like all we would do was go out and drink and party and stuff. And then I got to a point when something happened and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I would try to hang out with him, but he'd be like, I don't want to, like, I can't have fun unless I'm drunk or whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
stopped hanging out with him. I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'm not gonna be around that.
It's tricky
So
because
when
there's,
someone's like abusing drugs or
uh-huh,
alcohol, I'm like, peace. I'm not gonna be around for that. Sorry.
uh-huh. So what happens if your close friend ends up becoming an alcoholic? Then what?
Um, I don't know, because I'd have to be in that situation. I could say anything right now, but who
Mm-hmm.
knows if
There are
I would
people who
actually do
feel
what I
like it's their
say.
responsibility to help their friend, which it's hard because
Yeah.
alcoholism is definitely, I mean, I've dealt with it. My dad was an alcoholic when I was younger. My grandfather's an alcoholic. So it's not something I personally don't feel comfortable using it as a clutch. Like, it's just because you went through that doesn't give you an excuse to, do what you did. Um, at the same time, it is definitely an issue that they need help overcoming. So it's weird. It's definitely like one of those things where you're just like, all right, at what point is this something that I should be helping them with? And then at what point do I help myself, right? Which is where that whole cutting off thing comes into play. If someone, like the saying goes, you can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. If you try to push for, rehab or whatever, cold turkey, you know, and they don't go for it, then at what point do you say to yourself, okay, this is something that I need to save myself from? And then you cut them off and then you say, hey, I have to protect myself first, right? If you continue to sort of, and I refer to it as, if someone is hurting you and you don't do anything about it and they continue to hurt you, then at what point does it become your fault, you know? where you're kind of just
Oh
letting this
yeah,
cycle happen?
absolutely. I mean, the way I say it, this is my favorite saying, and I do this all the time. It's just like fool me once, shame on you, and then fool me twice, still shame on you for taking advantage of me, forgiving you for that. I absolutely put more blame on the person who is like initiating that kind of hurt. But if you choose to stay in that situation, that's on you. You know, unless you're physically unable to leave that situation, like financially, or you don't have anywhere else to stay, then if you choose to stay with that person and they're hurting you, I mean, that's on you, because you have the power to take yourself out of that situation unless you physically cannot, or it's a situation where you're afraid that they'll hurt you. But even then, I don't know, man. I feel like you should be more inclined to get the fuck out if that's the case. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like hurt you physically and stuff. So
Mm-hmm. I do think I definitely believe that you 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 let people treat you right the way that they do. So like it's
yeah,
in your power a lot of the times, not always, but a lot of the times it's in your power to control how people are when they're, around you, or how they treat you as a person. So what you let people get away with is how they're going to continue to be, right? And I think that's why, for me, it's super important for me to be super upfront and blunt, because I've been in situations where people think that it's okay to say or do things to me because they think, hey, Blue won't do anything about this. Hey, she's super nice, like she's not gonna get mad at me for doing this, like, or she'll forgive me for it. And that doesn't work for me. I'm not going to let people take advantage of me and there not be anything, like, I don't like feeling like I can't do anything about something. And so the way I deal with that is that I make sure I let people know from the get that shit doesn't fly here, and you can go find someone else to do that shit with, because it's not me. And most of the time, it's fine. Like people are like, all right, no problem. I don't necessarily say it like that. It's more like of a situation kind of thing, and I kind of like my behavior to something, defines how they can continue to behave with me. But at the same time, I find that people like to often test sometimes, and so when they do that, it especially if they've known you already and they try and test you by doing something, it's super disappointing, because you feel like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what am I doing to kind of allow this behavior, I guess? Or at least this is what my frame of thinking is. And it's not necessarily good, because it goes into the realm of blaming yourself for other people's actions, which, other people should be taking responsibility for their own fucking actions, just saying. But yeah, I feel super responsible sometimes when I, something happens and I'm just like, yo, but what gave this person the idea that they could do this, to me? And I'm often stuck on that. And I sort of start to like get down on myself, and I'm disappointed with myself, because I'm just like, you are supposed to set up how people treat you. Like you take no shit. So like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not necessarily good behavior. This is definitely something that you should not do.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't.
For example, when we
blame
had our
yourself
thing, last week we talked about it. I was definitely sitting there and being just like, what did I do or say that
to make make Luca think that she could talk to me like
what?
this. Let me live my life,
Luke.
please, ma'am. Ma'am.
You did it too. See?
I mean, make Luca think that she could talk to me like this.
Yeah, I was just like why? Like, what did I do to A, maybe get her angry, B, maybe get her just to like think that I was like not going to say anything about it, like those things go in my head where I'm just like, maybe I did or said something that just made it this way, right? But it wasn't that at all. It was just your reaction to just something because of the way you were feeling at the time. And what's weird is that I didn't think of that at like when it was happening. I didn't even think about that part about how you are just reacting yourself. Like, I mean, you're a person. You're a person that reacts to things, and things sometimes just come out the way they do, and then that's it. So it's just super silly that I was just like, what did I do, right? And then I got disappointed in myself because I was just like, I'm like, you idiot, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Anyway, the point being that sometimes you just gotta let people go. Sometimes people are dickheads. And unless you are willing to talk it out, talk it through, like, you know, with close friends, then it's just, if they're not willing also, it's not worth it. Anyway.
You good?
Yeah, okay. It's just kind of sad sometimes what the shit that we do to ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta be more aware of like the healthy decisions that we make in life. For example, healthy decisions to talk to Luca about the fucking shit that she tells me sometimes. I'm just saying.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
What stuff? What are you talking about?
The healthy ways that we speak about our issues, okay? I would say that that's healthy.
I mean, I think it's good. Like, we practiced the whole let's actually talk on the phone about our issues thing this week, and that worked out.
Yeah, we did. Exactly. See, I...
Worked out eventually.
At first, it was kind of like lost in translation, and then, you know, we worked it out, and it was fine.
Yeah.
See,
sometimes it's better to just talk to people, guys. Just be honest about your feelings.
But the funny thing is that at first, it didn't happen right away, right? And we didn't let it go too far. You know what I mean? Like, we were texting back and forth, but we didn't let it get to like the point where it was just like, hold up, what the fuck, you know? And then we were like, okay, let me call this person and then we'll talk about it. But since we're so busy, sometimes it's super easy not to get to that point where it's like, all right, we should probably talk on the phone about this. Because it was like super late at night when we decided to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think that
we spent like 5 minutes yelling at each other.
It was not 5 minutes. I think,
ma'am, it was like 5 minutes, ma'am.
It was like 3.
Ma'am. I timed it. I timed it.
Look.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get heated in our like conversations, and then eventually towards the end we were just like, oh, okay. We were both just like, okay. Which is good. I mean, hey, people yell in therapy.
I mean, I'm a very stubborn and passionate person, so...
Same. But when we talk, right, that's the thing. That's why I feel like it's worth it. Like, that's why I feel like I'm not about to just, like, cut you off. Because I feel like we both do this thing where we're like, all right, what's going on, you know? And there are people who don't do that shit. And I feel like that's fucking frustrating. Because I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be like, all right, let's sit down and talk about this. What's the problem? How do we fix it? And a lot of the times, I meet a lot of people who are not willing to even, like, try. And that shit's super frustrating. What?
Or even acknowledge that there's an issue.
Oh, yeah. Not my fault, right? That whole, like, it's not my fault. And they wait for you to be like, I'm sorry. No, like, sometimes it is your fault. Anyhow. I think that's basically it when it comes to disappointment. I don't enjoy the feeling of disappointment.
Me neither.
Whether it's someone disappointing me or me being disappointed in myself, I don't enjoy it. It brings back a lot of memories, and I try to avoid it in any way that I can. But sometimes it's something that you have to face and deal with in order to grow, and sometimes disappointment is not a bad thing, right? Like, especially when it comes to you trying to do something and it not working out, don't let it stop you from trying again. I know it sounds cliche again. I know. But it's super important to remember, because if that were the case, if I would have given up on the shit that I do now, like, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't have this show. I wouldn't be friends with Luca. I wouldn't have my streaming. Like, I wouldn't have half the things that I have, you know? And I love all of my things. And I love having Luca in my life. So, just saying.
Oh, that's sweet.
If you say so.
I mean, oh.
I'm just being honest.
Okay. Oh, that's even sweeter. That's cute.
Okay, stop. No, I don't.
What? It's cute. It's cute? Yeah?
Okay,
Chad,
fine.
It's cute, right?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't say it for that. I just said it because, like, doesn't matter. Anyway, look. Tell me, do you feel like we said everything we needed to say here?
Yeah.
All right. Let me know, all of you that are listening, if you have stories about disappointment, whether it is with family, with love, with life, anything all around. It's something that I think about a lot. I still think about it now, and so it kind of gets me a little, like, you know, it's a little bit heavy for me. But I'm happy to share, and I want you guys to share with us too. And yeah, just let us know in the comments or send us an email. I'm gonna keep saying it all show long. Anyway, let's move on. We are going to move on to fuck that shit, where we give you a little bit of a rant if you feel like ranting. What is your fuck that shit this week?
All right, so listen, oh God. Okay, so I get into it a lot on Twitter, but I would like to point out that I do not deliberately go out of my way to start fighting with people.
Wait.
I make
Before
a post.
Start,
what's
though,
up?
I feel like I do want to give this to you. I feel like you've been better about it.
Oh my God, thank you.
I feel like I do. I need to acknowledge this because we had a conversation about it. And I feel like you've definitely been better about it. And I feel like there's a lot of fucktards that are, like, looking for it. Just saying. Okay, continue.
I mean, like, literally, though. So I mind my whole ass business as per usual, right? And
I hate when you
see
that.
if I see someone or something I don't agree with, I leave that post alone, okay? Like, I leave it alone. I'm like, I'm not about to go back and forth with someone, you know, over opinions. I'm not about to argue opinions. So what I do is I put my opinion out there, and sometimes it's not the most popular thing to say, but I'm just like, this is what makes sense to me as a person. You know what I mean? And then I always get a bunch of fuck faces bothering me, but just bothering me about it. You know what I mean? Like, coming out of nowhere, just scurry like roaches to my fucking post, okay? They're just like, and they're just like rubbing their little hands together, like, I'm gonna get into a little fight with Luca. I'm gonna trigger Luca, or I'm gonna offer my stupid ass opinion to Luca. Like, Luca actually cares. Luca does not care, okay? Luca doesn't care, guys. All right, let's put that out there. If you have an opinion that is different from mine, you do not have to come and share it with me, because I can assure you, 9 times out of 10, I do not give a fuck. I'll just be like, okay, all right, cool. But what really gets to me is when I'll make a post, right? Like a simple post, right? Like, I made a simple post, that shit blew up, right? I didn't even think it was going to blow up the way it did. But I make a post, and then I got like people were coming and trying to turn my words against me. Like, trying to twist what I said and trying to, like, imply that I was saying something I never said. And I'm just like, where did I say that? Where did I say it? Like, where did I say these words? I'll wait. I'll fucking wait. And they're just like, oh, well, okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, like, don't come to my post and try to twist it, because that's what these fucking Twitter fights boil down to. You say one thing and then people interpret it in like 16 different ways and then try to use it as a way to fight with you, and they're arguing with you about something you didn't even say, and you're just like, I didn't say that. So what I do is, because like I know a lot of people fall into the trap where they go back and forth with someone like that, but I'm like, I didn't say that. Show me where I said that. Because you're not about to fucking use words against me. I was an English major. Come on now. Like, you can't use words against me. I know what you're doing. So that just really that really gets my goat, you know, like El Chupacabra. But like that really gets to me, you know? Like I really hate that so much that people, and I made a post about this on Twitter. It's like you may get a seat at the popular kids table by agreeing with everyone and not thinking for yourself, but no one's going to remember who you are. You're not going to stand out from the crowd. You're just another face. Another face, just another face. You're just another person there, another fanboy. You're not memorable, you know? Like that's just how it is. You're just not. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to conform to what's popular just to try to fit in. I've never cared about fitting in. I've never fit in before. I will always speak my mind and I'll always be honest about how I feel about certain situations. Like, that's just how I am as a person. And I just think it sucks that people try to find popularity by arguing with me, which is like, at this point in my life, I can't believe people are still arguing with me. With me! Like, they don't know my reputation. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Shit was looking spooky.
I don't understand why people jump into threads. I don't, especially if you don't know the person. Like, I don't know. I don't know why that happens. And honestly, a lot of drama happens from it. And it's just not worth it, guys. Like, honestly, like, here we go. Time to say it. We're going to say it. Y'all need to get y'all shit together. I'm just like every show we say the same exact thing and it's the same exact. I don't understand. Like, it's so mind-boggling. Just stop.
And you know what? And if you don't want to get your shit together, fine. But just don't bother me. All right? Don't bother me.
Well, listen. If people ask for it, then by all means, just give it to them. That's all I gotta say about that. I'm not gonna stop you.
Oh, also, if we're friends, don't think that gives you a pass. All right? Because it doesn't. I'll put you in your place as well. So just be mindful of that. All right? Be mindful of that.
So for me, as you guys know, I went to the movie theater today. And, you know, I understand popcorn is good. It's delicious, right? Some people like it. I mean, personally, it gets stuck in my teeth, but whatever. Everyone to each their own. I don't understand why, if you're eating popcorn, you have to chew with your mouth open and make disgusting, like, cow-like noises while you're chewing. Like, what? Has no one taught you the way to chew food? Is just the thing? And then, of course, the people that are chewing this way are sitting right next to me. And it's a couple. So it's like, yeah, there's both of them. They're chewing the same exact way. It's super weird. I'm just like, what is this real? They had an entire tub of popcorn. No, it was not a small. Nope, it was an extra large. So they were there for super long, chewing the popcorn like they were a bunch of cows. And I'm just like, so I would just like to say, fuck that shit. I would appreciate if you could chew with your mouth closed. Stop making weird ass noises. Yeah. Also, if you're in the movie theater, can you just like not be so loud when you're talking? Because that's kind of annoying. The seats are super close together. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, why? Anyway, I don't understand.
Isn't it hard though, like trying to force yourself not to just like tell someone off in public? It's like the hardest thing ever.
But of course, the people that every time when I'm with people, they're just like, no, Blue, don't do it, Blue. No, don't do it. And I'm like,
there's
why?
been so many instances where I've just wanted to, like, you know, kill the person sitting next to me or in front of me.
You don't understand, especially because, like, luckily when the movie started, it was fine. But the entire time, like, when all the previews, I was just looking over and I was just like, really, 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 really? Because I don't understand. I just don't. I feel like I'm sitting in my chair, I'm chilling, I'm not eating anything, I'm not talking. Like, if I do talk, I'll like whisper into someone's ear. Like, it's super, no. I'm the only one who thinks to do this. Also, there was a child in the theater today to see Thor. I'm just saying, like, I would not bring my children to see these movies. I don't.
Thor?
Yeah, I don't feel like there's a particular age that I feel like you should, it's fine to bring your child to the theater for. I just feel like, I don't know, like 5 years old and like 3 and like, I just feel like it's too, I don't know, the kid was being super loud and just like, and then they quieted down, which I was so thankful for. But I was just like, why are you bringing kids? I don't know. That's just weird to me. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, yeah, man, fuck that shit. Chew with your mouth closed. Stop being so loud, weirdos. I hope none of you in chat do that shit. I'm just saying. God. All right, we will be moving on to our next segment, which is But Why Though? But Why Though? Where we give you a little funny story. Things like that. What's your But Why Though this week?
Listen, I'm gonna make this quick, okay? I gotta lower my voice because my grandpa can hear. Listen, I walked in on my grandfather taking a fucking bath, right? And I'm just like, bruh, there's a fucking lock. And the door wasn't even fully closed. And I'm just kind of like, I don't understand why my grandparents just don't lock the door. Like, I've been living with them for fucking 3 years right now, and they still don't lock the door. They just leave it wide open, and I just walk in on them, like, butt naked. I'm like, what are you doing with your life right now? Like, I don't understand. Like, but why don't you just lock the door, though? Like, I don't get it. But, yeah, that's mine.
Ugh. That's so weird. Isn't this like the second time that's happened to you?
Yes. It's fine.
Since I've known you, it's like the second time. First of all, I mean, I just want to say, people like to be naked
Fox
in your house.
Is in the chat, like, she's like, shit, again, Luca? I'm like, yes, again, Jesus.
Like, people like to be naked there. I'm just saying, like, it's just a matter of time before you... Who's left on the list? Honestly, like, you've gone down...
I mean,
no one likes to lock doors, huh? Do you lock your door?
I don't. I lock my door.
Dude, did you say anything?
I just sighed and left.
You sighed?
Yeah.
You took the time to sigh. Did he say anything?
No, he was just like, "Oh, sorry." I was like,
"Oh, sorry."
I was like, "Are you sorry? Are you sorry?
You keep doing the same fucking shit. Are you?" Wow, no shame. None at all. Like, if it happened to me, right, the second time, I would be sure to lock the door. Like, I would triple check that shit. But no, just like, yeah, I'm just chilling in my bath here. No problem. I'm sorry that keeps happening to you.
Thank you.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone, to be honest. Well, my but why though is, so in the city, if you use a car app, like a taxi app, sometimes they give you like really good deals. So in order to be back in time for the show, I decided to just take a taxi back home. Fuck it. It was pretty cheap. And so
why didn't you take an Uber?
That's it. That is what I took.
You said taxi.
Yeah, they are taxis.
What?
Uber is a taxi app. Those are taxis. Anything that drives you home is a taxi. Like,
ma'am,
and you pay for it.
When people think of taxis, they think of the yellow cars.
They're all taxis. I have like 5 different taxi apps on my
phone.
Just
please.
No, it doesn't.
Ma'am,
listen, sometimes I don't use Uber.
When people are like, I'm gonna get like an Uber or a Lyft, there's like a difference, But
there's Uber, there's Lyft, there's Via, there's Get, there's a whole bunch of them. So,
I haven't heard those, but okay.
Oh my God. All right, because I live in the city, lady.
I don't appreciate this attitude. I was just clarifying for the people in the chat.
How you just cut me off in order to like clarify that it is an Uber and not necessarily a taxi, because like yellow taxi.
You're welcome.
Whatever.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. No, thank you. I forgot what I was saying. Fuck it. But why though? But why does Luca feel the need to correct everything that I say? How about that? That could be a but why though.
Yeah, I mean that could be. You could have that as a but why though, but people in the chat are agreeing with me as per usual, so I just want to put that.
Everyone always listen. I'm gonna be honest here, and I'm gonna tell everybody that like y'all need to stop with this because Luca really feels like she's always right because y'all be like, yeah, Luca, yeah, oh my God, you're so right.
I am always right.
No, you're not always right. Get the fuck out of here.
I am right most of the time, ma'am.
Oh my God. I took a taxi home. Just saying. And it just so happened to be the Uber app today. But yeah, I was kind of annoyed because like the car smelled really bad. So what the fuck? Why, if you are driving people around, is your car smelling like ass? Can we explain that, please? So it was raining and still, I had to lower the window because that shit was way too strong. And I was just like, yo, can you drive faster? Thanks. So that was annoying. Yeah. I hate you guys.
Oh, you see what Foxy said? She said she's in the city too. And they don't say that, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. But
you're in what city? What city are you in? What the fuck?
You're like, where do you live, miss?
Like, you live in, like, fucking, where is this, Florida? Is this Florida we're talking about here? Because this is, like, Florida? Like, what?
God. I mean, all right, I'm gonna ask my friend who lives in, like, Chicago if they call it taxi and see what she has to say about it. But, I have a question.
Most taxis I get in smell like armpits.
Oh, not even a question, a comment. So, my Uber I took to get home Friday, I'm pretty sure the guy was like smoking weed like beforehand, and it was really weird because the other guy he was like, because I did Uber pool, so the other guy he dropped off, he's like, hey man, yeah, I got your number, I'll hook up with you later. And I was like,
what
why? What the fuck is going on? So shit was looking spooky.
That was weird. I don't trust people. Like, I honestly feel like it takes, look, I get in Ubers or Lyfts or Vias or, see, I'm not doing this. I get in taxis quite often sometimes, like when I need to get home quickly to stream and things like that. So, like, that's a big deal to be in a car with someone. They're driving you home. Like, it's not fucking cool if you feel that they are under some kind of influence. Like, that shit's scary. Like, that's your life, you know? Shit, I would have reported him. Like, did you guys know?
Well, I mean, I only have a vague idea of what weed smells like because I've never really been around it. Like, my friends used to smoke it a lot, but I was just never really there because I didn't care for it. But, I mean, I was just kind of like, you know, I'm gonna let this man live his life. He had a really high, like, rating on Uber, so I figured it was fine. Like, the people rating him are probably his customers, so... like, you know, his other customers, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. You have lots of secrets. I'm gonna fight all of you. Like, you, okay, we are not doing this right now, chat. We are not doing this. What is happening?
What's happening?
See, look, people agree with me too.
Yeah, but those are like your stream buddies, okay?
Listen, I don't want to hear it. All right. No.
Yeah.
No. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. Ma'am.
If someone, if a stranger is driving you in their car and you're paying them, it is a taxi no matter what motherfucking thing you ordered it from, okay?
I mean, okay, we could just, you know, it's kind of like how some people say soda and some people say pop, and then, like, there's other sayings, right? So, I don't know, maybe it's just, like, depending on where you live, that's what you hear. Because I've never heard an Uber be called a taxi before right now in this very moment.
I guess. Whatever. Do you tip the Uber driver in cash? No, they're not allowed to take cash here.
Yeah, they're not allowed to take cash in general. Yo, my app my app stopped working and his stopped working. So my Uber driver was all like, "Oh, I guess I'm not getting paid tonight." And he looked at me and I'm like, "I guess not, sir. But I already hit accept and you took forever to get here. So I'm like, my card has already been charged, sir. So you better fucking take me home." But it started working. He was like, oh, man, he had like Metro PCS or something. He's like, I guess I need to upgrade to a different phone service. I'm like, no shit, motherfucker. Like, come on now.
Yeah. How long do you stay in like a cab usually? Like, it seems like how long would your ride home be usually when you take Ubers home?
It depends on it. I mean, it depends because typically I don't take Ubers to places. I take the train, right? And then occasionally I'll take the train home, even though it's late at night because I'm broke as fuck. But it really depends. Sometimes it takes like an hour.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It sounds like you're in there for a long time.
Yeah, I typically am. It's like, it's a rare moment or a rare occasion where I'm not in an Uber for a very long period of time. So,
yeah, I'm never in one for longer than like half an hour, 20 minutes. Like, it's usually just like, all right, in, out, let's go. So, yeah, that's annoying. I don't want to be, I mean, you have to be obviously, but like, I don't want to be in a taxi for that long. It's just, yeah. Anyway.
Fox, I love you. Okay. All right. But, yeah. So, I've also never been in a taxi before. Or a cab. I've been in an Uber.
Oh,
so
my God. It's like sneakers and in the South tennis shoes. I guess. Whatever. Listen, I know what I know. And what I know is what I know.
What you know? What do you know, miss?
I know that I refer to taxis as taxis no matter what app they are from. That is all.
So have you been in like actual taxis before where like they're yellow and you have to flag them down or whatever?
Yeah,
I see that
I've been
on
in
TV
those
shows.
too. And when you come here, you will get to drive. No, you drive one. What? You'd get to ride in one. I'm like, don't drive the taxi. Don't do that.
Aren't taxis expensive?
They are kind of, I mean, yeah, it's the same shit sometimes.
Oh, the most I've ever spent on Uber is like $45, right? And it's because I was at my friend's birthday party, and then my other friend,
money.
I know, and then my other friend was having a birthday party, and I'm pretty sure she would have killed me if I went to his party and didn't go to hers. So I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I had to go.
Man, that's a lot of money. I try not to take too many, and I mean it's super nice to have one when you are going out. So that's for sure. So I try to, I know that if I'm gonna go out, most of the money is gonna be spent trying to get there and go home. But I don't know.
Facts.
I don't go out much, so there's that. And I don't drink, so my money doesn't really go to alcohol. But yeah, I just.
Yeah, I just feel myself sighing every time because it's the same for me. Most of my money's going to go to getting there and coming back. So then I'm like, should I take the train? And then I have to calculate how long that's going to take.
Yeah,
and
if
then
it's
you have worth
to leave,
it.
like,
I love taking the train. Like, I've taken the train at fucking 2 a.m. Oh shit, I have to pay my mom. It's okay. But like at 2 I just got an alarm. At 2 a.m, my friend's freaking out, like, hey, text me when you're home. What do you mean you're taking the train this late at night? I'm like, I'm willing to risk it to save those extra few bucks. It's hard out here in these streets.
Let me just say. Especially when you buy an Xbox One X. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Xbox One X. It's Xbox Eve, guys. I'm going to take a picture with my Xbox. I'm going to pose next to it and be like, this is my boyfriend now. I love him. I mean.
Ew. Anyway.
You're not going to take a picture with your Xbox?
I mean, I'm doing a live unboxing, so there's that.
You should take a picture with it.
Okay, fine, I guess. And I'll
just
send it to just you, I guess, because like who else is gonna care about me being like with? That's kind of weird, but
I mean, I'm gonna take a picture next to my Xbox, and I'm gonna get 600 likes. I just know it.
Okay, I'll like it one for you. 600 likes, yeah. Let's go. Let's move on. 600 likes. I'm just like, what?
Obviously, I'm just kidding.
I know. I love you, though. It's fine.
I love you, too.
Let's move on to our plugs so we can tell you where to find us. So Luca, tell everybody where we can find you.
All right, guys. Okay, cool thing this week, right? It's, the week of the X, shit's gonna be looking hot, man. It's gonna be popping. I'm really excited. RDX podcast is actually tomorrow night instead of Tuesday night, because let's face it, all of us are gonna be like setting up our Xboxes and stuff. So we're not gonna be like watching any shows. But yeah, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dealer Games channel, RDX podcast. And then I'm gonna be on Mel's channel on a Wednesday morning. Then I'm trying to like freak my way onto Xbox Nation, so we'll see how that works out. I'm trying to get on everyone's podcast this week because I'm super excited. So yeah, you guys can catch me on Twitter at TheAshenLuca. You can come follow me if you want to see me curb stomp people. That's a lot of fun. I get a lot of trolls. Like there was this troll yesterday. Cyrus pointed, like me and Cyrus were like playing some Destiny, and he told me about it. That shit was funny as hell. I retweeted it, so if you guys want to look at what this troll said about me, it's pretty hilarious. And yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll just talk about it later.
Yeah, so a really good show today. Everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for rocking out with us, even though it was like a hour after the fact. And yeah, have a nice day, guys, and catch me on Twitter so we can talk about this fucking X, man.
Super exciting. I'm getting one too, guys. Yes, I know we don't really talk about games here, but it's super exciting. It's hard not to be excited. New piece of hardware. It's awesome. I will be streaming, of course, so I hope to see you guys there. I'm actually gonna be streaming a special event on Monday night, so definitely swing by. Link is in the info bar. So you can check that out. It's about the 1X, just saying. And I hope that you guys, if you are getting it, are going to get it on time, because I know a lot of people are having some issues with that. Mine has shipped like yesterday, I think. So hopefully it gets here on time. We'll see. Also, I hope that everyone, if you are not a fan, can still, like appreciate what you see. And like maybe not fight people about it. Thank you guys for showing up. I really do appreciate you guys for being here, because I didn't expect people to come. I was like, oh no, it's an hour later. But I'm glad you guys made it. I'm glad you had fun. And yeah, let us know if you have any stories that you want to share down in the comments below, of course. And also, I have a Discord if you want to join to chat with me more often. Luca's not in it anymore. She left it when she was mad at me one day. She'll join though again soon. I'll make her join soon. And I'm on Twitter too, so if you want to follow, do that. Thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.